back here on Cubs Now. Alex and Lance here. It's been a lot of fun doing Cubs Now all season long. We have a fun episode here today. Lance Brozdowski, we get to talk to a guy by the name of Ben Zobrist, 2016 World Series MVP. Yeah, I think of Ben Zobrist. I think of a winner. What do you think of Ben Zobrist? What are you most looking forward to when it comes to talking to him?
I can't believe the 2016 series was 10 years ago. It feels, I don't know if it feels longer or shorter, but
a lot of pounds, a lot of hair
ago. This entire season, I feel like there's going to be moments scattered throughout our broadcasts and elsewhere that you've already seen that are like catching the feeling of that season, which was just an incredible one to follow way back as a fan and stuff before this network even started. But Zobrist is a guy that I think every manager wants in the present day of baseball. And he is just like, his name has almost become like a noun. Like Zobrist is like the modern day tangible player that can jump around positionally, do a lot of things at the plate, contact power, speed. Like he did everything. And I was most interested to talk to him in this interview we're going to throw to about his versatility as a player and how he actually like trained for that to the point where he was ready for it every season. Because every spring we talk about how guys are trying to be versatile, but the actual prep that goes into making that player great is what I was fascinated to hear about.
Yeah, trailblazer, trendsetter. I mean, he's a player who in 2026 would make a lot of money. And he just did that in 2016 in such a tangible way that I think the Chicago Cubs, I mean, I know that they don't win the World Series without Ben Zobrist. And just to hear it from his lens and how he was able to elevate that team, I think really enjoyed listening to. I think you will enjoy listening to. So here on Cubs Now, Alex Cohen, Lance Brozdowski, we're going to take a break. When we come back, it'll be our interview from CubsCon with Ben Zobrist coming up next. Welcome, everybody. Alex Cohen, Lance Brozdowski, and 2016 World Series champion Ben Zobrist, everybody. Man, Ben, I bet that doesn't get old, does it?
Yeah, well, no, it doesn't, especially not in this group of people and not when you remember all the memories and see all the guys like we've gotten to the last few days. So been really exciting.
2016 reunion, 10-year reunion. It's just been an awesome weekend here at CubsCon. What's it been like for you being able to come here with these guys? I'm sure it feels like it was 10 days ago, 10 decades ago. Like, what's been going through your head this weekend?
You know, it's just energy. It's like it's electricity, right? It kind of gets you feeling like, man, the fun that we had together, and when you get guys all back together like that again, it's this feeling of, gosh, guys, let's go out on a field together. That'd be fun, you know? It's funny, Travis Wood taking his shirt off again, like he always does. It just always makes it something like things never change. Some things never change.
It's like the years go on, but things still stay the same. I want to hear some 2016 memories. Everybody talks about winning the ring, the parade.
Yeah.
But what are some of the other moments that stick out to you, whether it's during the regular season, the postseason run, you're like, man, that was awesome?
Yeah, well, I always think back to the moments that felt like they were tougher, and you watch kind of how the guys respond to it. And so I remember when we got ahead early in the season, and then we started to have some struggles in June, and you see the way the guys picked each other up, and we had already built this level of chemistry and love for each other to where when you know that in those tough moments you're able to kind of stay positive and support each other through those rough moments in the season, then it starts to build like, okay, we can get past anything when you start getting past those tough moments. So that's the stuff that sticks out, because I believe to be a great team, you're always going to hit snags in tough parts. So that's really the thing. When I look at all the guys, I'm like, that guy was big in that moment, in that moment, in that moment.
Okay. What parallels do you see perhaps between the 2016 team or even the 2015 one and the present-day Cubs? Is there characteristics that jump out about players, how it's managed? Like, what about the teams do you see that perhaps is similar?
Yeah, it's a combination of incredible strategy and management and coaching at the same time as having a mix of this young energy. Like, we've got some great young energy. We've got veterans. We've got extremely stable guys. You got young guys that are starting to come into their own. And you add a few pieces like a Bregman or, you know, these older guys or these guys coming in this year, and they're hungry. Everybody's hungry. I think that's the piece going into spring training that when everybody feels not only confident but hungry at the same time, it's a special mix.
you and Alex Bregman both have this innate ability to control the strike zone. And I always find that fascinating because I feel like you hear a ton now about training bat speed and getting guys to swing hard to create more exit velocity. But that ability to understand what you should swing at to do damage on or what you shouldn't swing at because you're not going to do damage on it feels so innate. For you, where did it come from?
Well, there's a lot of training that goes behind that. When you start to realize certain pitches you can't hit, that was the reason why I learned, because I was like, okay, I can't hit that ball well. I think Alex has proven he can hit a lot of different baseballs hard in the zone, around the zone. When he's looking in certain spots, he doesn't miss, right? And so for me, it was a little bit more of like, I know I can't do that, so let me zone up, get it right here, and then you make the pitcher work. I also knew it was important in my part of the lineup whenever I was playing to make the pitcher throw pitches. Let guys on deck or in the dugout see more pitches, and I felt comfortable with 2 strikes. So I was like, okay, if I can work the count a little bit more, make sure we're seeing all his stuff, it's going to give the guys that like to swing early in the count a little bit more of a look, a little bit more of a timing of all those pitches. And so when you see guys that walk well, I also realize in the big leagues, in order to walk well, you have to hit. So you have to find a way to hit. And Bregman, he can sure hit.
Well, it's a trickle-down effect because you have to be able to see pitches, recognize spin, and all of that goes into hitting the ball hard and taking pitches that are out of the strike zone.
That's right. That's right. And he's one of the best at controlling the zone. And really, for the guys that we have in the lineup that are free swingers now, he's going to really balance that out and take his pitches. And then guys behind him that are going to hit the ball in or in front of him, that he just has that ability to almost do it all for you in the lineup.
All right, I want to foreshadow a little bit. You're watching the 2026 Chicago Cubs. What are you looking for in terms of, hey, if they do this, they'll probably win baseball games?
Well, everybody's saying stay healthy, and obviously
easier said than done.
Yeah, obviously that's important for any team. There's going to be some injuries. You just know that in such a long season. It's a relative health, right? Are you having these key parts of the lineup? But you also, I think this is a piece that is often underestimated. The guys that maybe aren't even here right now that are going to make a big impact on this team and fill in the gaps and come up big in clutch moments. This lineup is obviously stacked. It's incredible. It's going to be a great lineup when it's all fully healthy. But then there's going to be these little parts of the season where there's going to be struggles, and we're going to need guys to fill gaps. And you have to have those guys that are on the cusp. AAA, maybe they start in another organization, and at some point in the year they're with us. But that's the type of stuff that you really underestimate how important it is to fill the gaps and get you to the moment that all those pieces really matter.
All right, so you brought up Alex Bregman earlier. Yeah. Alex Bregman in his introductory press conference said 2 things that stuck out to me. 1, I'm wearing number 3 because I want to win my 3rd championship. Really like that one. And 2, saying I am a winning baseball player. What to you is a winning baseball player in 2026? What do they do?
Well, they're confident, like he is. They're experienced. He knows some things.
Dude wins.
And but they also understand that the resilience, I think, that it takes to be able to weather the storms that look like, oh, this isn't going well. And he's got that mettle. It's like an internal mettle, and you can see it, the mental toughness that goes with that. That's the kind of thing that I think a guy like that is going to be very, very solid no matter how things are going in the moment. You can probably look at him and go, okay, he's going to be very consistent, right? And we've got several guys in our lineup now that understand that and are able to perform at the high level, but also like they'll provide that big splash moment at times, but also even when things aren't going well, you know what you're going to get. And when you have that, it really carries you in those tough parts of the season.
You are the epitome of versatility to me. How many positions you play, the fact that you switch hit. I feel like it's a manager's dream to have that. I'm more curious about your off seasons and how they looked from a workload standpoint. I feel like that's a word we hear a lot now, whether it's on pitching or hitting. Guys are swinging really hard, got to prevent oblique injuries and stuff. But from your perspective, you're doing so many things in an off season, I imagine, to get ready. Like, how did you break down your off season such that you could get in there and know I can play second, I can go to the outfield, I can play wherever you need, and then I'm also taking reps as a lefty, as a righty. Like, there's so much in there, I imagine, from a planning standpoint for you. How did you parse through it all?
Well, yeah, I relied on athleticism a lot, especially in the offseason, because if I was strong and I was stable and I was building a level of, I think, just a strong base, and working athletic movements with my trainer, Josh Costello at the time, and other guys around me. We were all doing athletic movements, realizing, though, that those athletic movements only get you so far. So spring training is where a lot of my reps at those positions, different positions, were really, really mattered. So the first week or two was like, oh, I'm very sore. You're trying to get everything normal, because I wasn't on a baseball field all off season. I was in a place where we were indoors. And then you come. As soon as you get to spring training, I knew it was game on in regard to practice. So I got to spend extra time in practice going from this position to that one. Just take as many reps as possible, trusting my athleticism and the base that I built over the winter and the strength that I knew that once I built that up in spring training, by the time I hit April 1st or around where the beginning of the season was, I was in a pretty good position.
Ian Happ told me last year that he always has things with either side of the plate from a swing standpoint that he's kind of working on. And they're very different. You know, he's like thinking about different things lefty, he's thinking about different things righty. He knows his cues lefty, he knows his cues righty. I'm wondering, when you played, is there a thing when your lefty swing or your righty swing that stood out between them that you were like, I got to lock on this, but it's different than what I do when I step over to the other's batter box?
Yeah, for sure. There was you're a different hitter from both sides of the plate, and Ian would tell you the same thing. It's just the way your body works, right? So as a right-handed hitter, I had to work more inside out, and as a left-handed hitter, I could look away and trust in.
Okay, so inverted almost. That's
yeah,
supposed to be
it was
confusing.
inverted. Yeah, and also the way that your kinetic movements work. Kinetically, I was faster turning from left to right. So lefty, it was easier to turn. Righty, I would get stuck sometimes. And so, especially when you're running out of the box differently, your body just tries to morph and change and do things differently. So it's very difficult to try to do everything symbiotically, but the goal ultimately is to get yourself in a great position to hit, right? And so it was more about, okay, if I can get in this position to hit consistently, then I can work on that inside-out approach as a righty or lefty. I can trust my hands to get to the ball in.
We're with Ben Zobrist. Everybody give him a round of applause.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
So, Ben, Lance was talking about you being just the prototypical utility player. I want to talk about you being the prototypical pro. And I said this on a couple podcasts ago. The guys that stick out to me, pro, went about it the right way, it's you and it's Kyle. Just the guys who treated their teammates right, treated the fans right, treated the media right. Was that innate with you? How did you learn how to be a pro? Is that something that your parents showed you? Did you learn in college? Did you learn in pro ball? Did a veteran take you aside to be like, Ben, this is how you do it? Because you're the pro of pros. How did you learn that?
Well, very kind of you to say that. The consistency, it really comes back to consistency that was built into my system as a young person through watching my dad do the way that he did. He's a pastor of a church, right? But still, there's still a consistent approach to things. How do you maintain, this is how we do things on a regular basis? And so for me, I had to find a routine. So readiness and routines are such an important part of being an athlete. Everybody will tell you that. And the earlier you figure out your routines, but also the ability to not get stuck in them, you have to always adapt and change them over time. So the whole goal was, how can I be consistent, maintain these parts of my routine that are working, and tweak the ones that seem like maybe I need to change this a little bit over time.
So would that be the advice that you would give to a younger player like PCA or Cade or Shaw that are coming as a member of the Chicago Cubs, one of the biggest fan bases in the country, one of the biggest sports markets in the country? What would you tell them? Be like, hey, like, this is how you navigate that. Here's how you be a pro in this city representing this franchise.
Yeah, it's a combination of what they already know. They're already pros. They already know their routines in a lot of regards, but you still have to stay flexible. So I sometimes will call it like stubborn coachability. Like, you want to be coachable, so you listen to the trainers, listen to the coaches.
That's what I call myself, stubborn.
Yeah.
Not as much coaching. Not as much coaching.
You have to listen to the people around you. They have great ideas, and they will help you figure out new things that need to change. But also, you have to know what works for you. And so stick with those main things that work at the same time as being willing to adjust and open to adjustment on a regular basis.
Can you talk about a bit of your involvement with the Cubs presently in terms of some of the mental skills stuff you do and other aspects of the game that maybe fans aren't totally aware of? Feel like you see the guy go hit a homer, but you're not thinking about what he feels after he goes 0 for 4 or 3 Ks or something.
Yeah, well, I've gotten a chance to have great conversations with Sam Kirkjian, who's the mental skills coordinator for the Cubs. She's amazing. She knows her stuff. It's so great to be able to say, here's how I thought through things on a baseball standpoint, and for her to translate it and say, okay, well, here's how these skills like actually play out. And the more I learned, the more I realized I was doing a lot of things without knowing that they were mental skills. But now that you kind of understand, here are the categories, here are the things that everybody has to learn how to do, I can look back at my career and say, man, I was weak in certain areas that I didn't realize. So now that we have all this knowledge around it, it's great to be able to, push in this. I want to get better at this at the same time as maintaining what I'm already good at, right? And so no matter how long they've been playing in the big leagues, if guys can start to understand what they already do well, stick with those things, but also continue to grow. None of us are too old to grow. Doesn't matter how long you've been doing what you're doing. We got to keep that growth up, and that's what mental skills to me is all about, is how are we continuing to grow on the inside as we're performing and doing what we know how to do really well. So it's constant growth and incredible resources available with the players. It's getting better every day.
How about for younger athletes, like say maybe a kid in high school who's a junior, maybe he's got some prospects to go into college. What are some advice or potentially some tools or ways that they can like maintain that growth element you're talking about and lock in on the mental skills side, whether it be resources or just advice throughout your career?
Yeah, I mean, I'm working with some high school kids and college guys right now, and honestly, what I see the most that a lot of young players struggle with is self-talk. They've got to be able to speak to themselves in a kind way, but still compete, right? Are you competing and giving it everything you got, but not shaming yourself when things don't go well? Because there's going to be a lot of failure. There's a lot of things you got to overcome over time, and trust that, hey, I can train and push myself and make myself better at the same time as being kind. Because it's difficult as a player. You know how cutthroat the game is at times too. You got to be patient with yourself. And that self-talk is a big, big thing that you got to learn how to speak positively even when things don't go well.
You've taken the next stage in your professional career, going to the mental skills side, and you have a booth here at CubsCon, and you're promoting a lot of different things. Can you talk to the fans, our podcast, about some of the initiatives that you're doing?
Yeah, Champion Forward is really about the mental and emotional skills that are needed to be able to handle everything they're dealing with right now, off the field, on the field, the transition. Like, everybody wants to perform really well. We all do. So do the parents. So do the coaches.
It's all inclusive.
Yeah, everybody wants to do better. And let's be honest, some of that arena is toxic right now. So everybody needs more skills in regard to that. And what we help train and teach with our ambassadors with Champion Forward is just how can you experience sports in a mentally and emotionally healthy way? I wish I would have done it better. I went through 2 bouts of depression during my career that I had trouble with it. And so I performed really well on the field, but I still needed help and work on how to transition well to like crushing it out there, to like just being okay when you put the game down. And so that's something that is really needed at the youth level, on a not just for the kids but the parents and coaches as well. And we want people to thrive and not just be like surviving as they're moving up the ranks, but really do it in a way that they feel great about, their relationships get better with each other over time. That's what it's all about.
I heard you're giving away a Camaro.
Hey,
let's
go.
Or just
the World Series MVP Camaro is going to be given away now.
I don't want to bury the lead right now. That's a pretty big giveaway.
Incredible.
Right there.
And let me give the shameless plug, cfsweepstakes.org. Go to it. If you donate even $5 to the organization for mental and emotional skills for young athletes, parents, and coaches, $5, and you get a chance to win that Camaro. There's going to be a giveaway in October when we're in a playoff run.
Right. Yeah,
on the way to the World
Love
Series
the
again.
Foreshadowing, yeah.
Okay, we're going to give this thing away, and I'm super excited to benefit the organization that way.
Hey, you could be like Nick Papa Georgia. Put $1 to win a car. Put $1 to win a car.
And it's only got 7,000 miles on it. I have kept this thing pristine, okay?
Gosh, it's going to look so nice in my garage.
I'll even take a ride with you, Alex.
Sounds great.
With a little car talk.
What would 2016 Ben Zobrist tell 2026 Ben Zobrist tell 2016 Ben Zobrist about mental skills, about playing, just from what you know now? How could you help your younger self?
I would say, Ben, some of the most important skills of your life are going to be learned in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
And
a good one.
You're going to get experience. I'm in a couple men's groups where we do some of this training and stuff, and you're going to get to experience a depth of emotion and relationship, not only with yourself, but with the sport and with other people in your life that you've never even had up to this point. And the best is yet to come. That's what I would say.
Love it.
That's unbelievable. How about on the baseball side, watching baseball now, how different is it compared to 2016? What jumps out about the game?
Well, I mean, the talent is off the charts. I mean, I think it's better than it's ever been, and it's younger than it's ever been, obviously. So some of the talent and the ability that these young kids have, now the experience is at the major league level is less than it was. You don't have guys that are as polished sometimes as maybe they used to be back in 2006 when I got called up. But that being said, they'll let these young guys kind of fail at the highest level, and for that matter, it's challenging for these young. They're young. I mean, like 22, 23.
They're young
in the big
leagues.
They're
baseball babies. They're baseball babies.
And just a few years ago, they're in high school. Some of these kids, right? And so it's amazing to see them try to deal with that and see how kind of baseball mature they are at the same time as they're still trying to figure it out too. These are human beings first before they're players, and so getting to get to know these guys and seeing that they're good humans. Really good human beings first and foremost makes me confident that even if they're challenged right now as a young player, whatever it is, injury, failure, whatever the social media world says or whatever.
Because it's tough to fail in this era, man, because they cut up everything and there's every TikTok
either.
Yeah, I mean,
it's tough.
It's difficult.
It's different than it was for us 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So we, in this generation that are older now, we have to look back, give them some patience and grace for the moment that they're in, and let them grow over time. And really, they want guides. They want mentors. They want people to walk alongside them, but they don't want to be screamed at and told how to do things, right?
Yeah.
So we gotta just help them walk alongside them as they grow into stardom.
Last one from me here, and I know it's one we both wanted to ask. Where's the World Series ring?
Okay, there's a story behind that.
Okay.
We have plenty of time. This is our safe space. So
it's in my safe right now, okay? Back at home, I forgot it on the at the airport.
You were gonna
I'm
bring
like,
it.
yes,
Okay.
yes, I was gonna bring it, and I didn't end up bringing it. So there's a fake with me right now.
Love it.
That has a few stones missing, but don't tell anybody that was what I was wearing last night
We're gonna clip
at the
it.
sermon.
so
Nobody
funny.
knows.
That is really funny.
Yeah, so I was like, how do you forget that when you're bringing the whole team
But
back
you
together?
didn't forget the faux one, you're saying. Was
Yeah,
that just
and I get nervous carrying it through the airport. I'm not putting
I
it
would.
in checked
Oh my
luggage.
God, yeah.
And it's in my pocket, and then you're sending it through the scanner, and I'm like,
but
You're
it's
like, put
it's
that
your
in the
pocket.
tray.
I really
I'm like, don't
want
worry
to.
about that. It's just a big
It's
nothing.
a big ring.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I got one more final question.
Okay, what's that?
What does the city of Chicago mean to you? What is having all these fans celebrating 10 years
Yeah.
and doing it in this way, getting a round of
Yeah.
applause? What does this mean to you?
You know, I think this is the epicenter and the heart and soul of fandom is here in Chicago. I mean, look at the Bears, what the Bears are doing, and how that is just so incredible. So the teams here, the fans here, just unbelievable, incredible. It's really the heart and soul of what it's like to be a fan.
All right, everybody give a round of applause. Ben Zobrist, baby.
Thank you, guys.
2016 World Series winner. Thanks so much for coming on. Really
All right.
appreciate it.
Thank you, Ben.
Thanks,
Take
guys.
care. All right,
Thank
thanks,
you.
guys. Appreciate it. We are back here on Cubs Now. Alex and Lance, we just talked to Ben Zobrist. That interview came from CubsCon. It's still an interview that really resonates with me, Lance. I'm curious what you were able to take from it, just because he broke into so much of like the psychological aspect of baseball that you don't normally hear from active players, but really former players coming from that generation either. I'm curious your take on it.
The self-talk he brought up was really the big thing that jumps out to me, and how he thinks that basically younger players that are maybe a little less, I won't say mentally developed, but just like less mature as on-field athletes have a lower frequency of that self-talk, and how you actually teach a player into being positive around what's going on, but also like coping with the negative. That was like somewhat insightful to me, because I definitely, when I played sports when I was younger, did not have that element of self-talk.
You didn't have that on the East Coast? Yeah.
No, it would have been great to hear this conversation from him as like 10-year-old Lance, or even like 14-year-old Lance or anything. So anybody who's listening that's younger that plays sports, I think that lines it beautifully with like the mental approach to sports are so important. You see it all the time, like how often hitters talk about it. Like those guys are at the highest level because they're incredible dynamic athletes, and a lot of the time it's stitching together the more kind of softer skill, intangible stuff that you can't grind in off season and gain bat speed or throw harder.
Yeah.
Like those little subtle things I think give players such an edge, and at the highest level those small edges are the difference between being Ben Zobrist and being someone who falls off a roster after a couple seasons.
I mean, Lance, what really got to me was just the transparency. It was
Yeah.
him just saying that like he battled some stuff with depression, and he wished that he had those skills back in the day, but just bringing everything forward to this generation of baseball. I think he was able to put it in such like an easy context. So that's what really stuck out to me. Really fun episode here on Cubs Now with Ben Zobrist. For Ben, for Lance Brozdowski, I'm Alex Cohen. We appreciate you guys listening and watching.